Neurons are the basic structural and functional unit of nervous system. It is the longest cell of the human body. There are millions of neurons in the human body. They act by conducting nerve impulses. They cannot be replaced if they are destroyed once. Neurons consist of cell body, which is also known as cytone or soma. It is made up of cytoplasm and nucleus. The cytoplasm contains Nissl granules, and Nissl granules are rich in RNA, ribonucleic acid, which are concerned with protein synthesis. Axon. Axon is a long tubular extension of the cell body of a neuron. At its distal end, axon branches profusely, each branch ending as a tiny enlargement called end fit or presynaptic knob. Some axons have a non-cellular fatty covering called medullary or myelin sheath. The myelin sheath covers and protects the axon from pressure and injury. It acts as an insulator and increases the speed of impulse transmission along the axon. The myelin sheath is almost white, and parts of nervous system made up of myelinated axons are called white matter. The part of nervous system made up of more cell bodies and non-myelinated axons are darker in color. This is known as gray matter. These are the short branched process extending from the cell body to all directions. Dendrons end in fine branches called dendrites. They receive the impulses or messages and convey them to the cell body. Working of neurons. Each neuron is a separate structure. There is no cytoplasmic continuity between two neurons. They are connected only by intervening junction called synapse. The information passing through neurons are in the form of chemical or electrical signals called nerve impulse. The first neuron liberates a chemical substance known as neurotransmitter, which excites a fresh nerve impulse in the next neuron. One example of chemical transmitter is acetylcholine. When we touch a hot object, we immediately withdraw our hand. In this process, during this action, neurons are involved. Nerve cells are located in our sense organs, eyes, ear, nose, tongue, and skin. Dendrites, the specialized lip tips of nerve cell, detect stimulus from the environment. After receiving information, dendrite sets off a chemical reaction and creates an electrical impulse. This electrical impulse acts as a message for the next neuron. This impulse travels from dendrites to the cell and finally reaches axon endings. In the axon endings, electrical impulse sets off to release some chemicals. These chemicals help in transmitting impulse across synapse. In this way, the impulse is transferred from one nerve cell to another. Finally, the message is carried to the central nervous system through the sensory nerves to brain. Central nervous system recognizes the stimulus and sends message to muscles through motor neurons. Muscles receive the message and show response by withdrawing the hand. Reflex action. First event begins with the receptor detecting a stimulus from a sensory organ. The stimulus could be in a pressure, temperature or chemicals, which is followed by sensory neuron, and the signal has been sent to the relay neuron. The relay neuron then sends the signal to the motor neuron. The motor neuron detects the signal and sends a signal to the organ or cell that acts to the stimuli called effector, and finally the effector produces an instantaneous response such as knee-jerk reaction is one kind of example of response. The reflex arc is a pathway that controls a reflex in this manner. Thank you.